Innovative Industrial Properties reported their second quarter 2022 results just a couple minutes ago. We're going to go over it here. So it was another record quarter, and this quarter was going to be in contention. And you've seen the stock sell off from $250 a share all the way down to I think 70 or 80 was the low. And this was due to a class action lawsuit being filed against IIPR in relation to, kind of what it was alleging is that IIPR had underestimated or understated how much of their business relies on just a handful of clients, a handful of tenants at their properties, and that there was going to be information coming out about one of their tenants not paying rent on time, not able to meet financial obligations. And that report did end up coming out. I think it was Kingspin LLC that was unable to pay their rent, and it was like 18% of their portfolio or something for IIPR. So a pretty large tenant, and people were kind of wondering what effect that would have on the earnings report this quarter. And there were arguments made that, being the only REIT kind of in this industry, as noted here at the top, that they'd be able to find tenants easily to replace, you know, whether it was a temporary disagreement or if that company was going out of business, IIPR would have no trouble finding a replacement tenant. And so far, it looks like they're able to beat expectations, and they are able to set record revenue and profitability. So let's go ahead and get into it. Total revenue of $70.5 million in the quarter, representing 44% increase year over year. Record net income of $40 million for the quarter, or $1.42 per diluted share. And this is adjusted funding for operation of approximately $60.1 million, or $2.14 per diluted share. And what I'm noticing on, like, for example, here, if you do a Google search for the quarterly financials or the earnings for IIPR, you'll see the previous quarters in which $1.36 was expected, $1.32 reported, and then back throughout time. And here we go, the diluted EPS, the net income, the revenue. So it was a beat quarter over quarter as well. But then if you go here to the NASDAQ.com information for the stock, here we have the estimated and reported. And you notice that these earnings per share are much higher than what we saw on the Google page and what they reported this quarter, even though it's a record. So this chart here, NASDAQ, it looks like they're getting their information from this adjusted funding for operations, adjusted funds from operations of $2.14. So for this quarter, they are expecting $1.86 per share. Here we have $2.14 per share. So that beat the analyst expectations there as well. But really, you would want to use this, the true GAAP net income derived earnings per share, $1.42 per share, and that would be take the net income. So there's 40 million, and you're going to divide that by the total number of outstanding shares, which will tell us there in the chart below. We'll even get the calculator ready so that we can run that calculation when we get there. But that number will give you the true earnings per share. All right. They paid a quarterly dividend of $1.75 per common share back in July 15th, which was a 25% increase over the prior year's second quarter, and equal to analyzed dividend of $7 per share. So for every share of IIPR you hold, $7 for the entire year. They sold common stock and senior notes, and to give themselves additional funding to make 4 acquisitions here, properties in Arizona, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Texas, and executed 5 lease amendments to provide reimbursement for additional improvements. So tenants make improvements. IIPR kind of assumes some of the cost as well and reimburse these tenants for their improvements. This represented $239.4 million of investment. And let's see. In these transactions, IIP established new tenant relationships with Maryland Cultivation and Processing LLC, Texas Original Holdings LLC, and Tilt Holdings Incorporated, and expanded existing relationships with Curaleaf Holdings, Green Thumb Industries, PharmaCann, and Sozo Health. So people were concerned about the Kingspin. I want to say it's Kingspin. I'll look into that, but they were concerned about them not being able to pay the rent and being one of the biggest tenants. But here we have new relationships with 1, 2, 3 companies, and expanding relationships with 1, 2, 3, 4 other companies. So they really is, so much demand that it's not a concern for them, as far as we know. They don't really get into how the percentage of the tenant has adjusted in this report here. Maybe tomorrow they'll release a more detailed 10Q and we can look at that. Let's see. 12% debt to total gross assets with approximately $2.5 billion in total gross assets. And let's see. Here's the properties that they acquired, the size and the price in thousands. So this would be 12 million, 40 million, 5 million, 25 million. And total investments as follows. So like this Maryland facility, they bought it 25 million. That's all they did. Same with this one, but it looks like the Texas one, additional $9 million investment. And then let's see here. Here is the future building improvements. Oh, they committed additional capital at existing properties to fund draws related to future building improvements. And those facilities listed here. As of August 3rd, IIPR owned 110 properties located in Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia, and Washington. It's a total of 8.6 million rentable square feet and an average remaining lease term of approximately 16 years. And as of August, IIPR had invested approximately $2.1 billion across its portfolio. All right. This gets into the issuing of senior notes and stocks. And this reiterates the financials for this quarter. Let's see, anything else noteworthy here? It pretty much just recaps. And so let's see. I am looking for now. Here's the total assets. They increased. This is in thousands, so they're up to $2.4 billion of assets. And it increased by just under $400 million from. This is actually from Q4 2021 to this quarter. And here we have year over year. So total revenues increased is that maybe 22 million? No, $22 million that it increased year over year. Yeah, year over year. Total expenses increased, but not as drastically as the revenue. So the income increased by about $11 million. And then here's the earnings per share difference year over year. And let's see, does it tell me? Yes, actually. So we're going with diluted shares, right? So the net income, which is 39,876, and it's in terms of thousands of dollars. So we'll put some zeros on it. Divide that by the shares outstanding, which it says that in thousands except shares and per share are included in that, equals the 1.42 that they're giving us. It's actually more like 1.4223. So that would be the number they should be using here. Here they're using the AFFO, or the adjusted funds from operation. Here they're using the correct number. But and they don't have the expectations out here yet for this quarter. But I want to say I was seeing expectations of 1.39 per share. But yeah, this was a beat. Looks good for IIPR. I know in the after hours the stock is trading a little higher. I would be surprised if it did not continue to go up over the next coming days. And the PE ratio for the stock, I think it's getting close to 25 per share. We'll see what it's looking like. Well, no, the PE ratio, it's getting close to 25. We'll see what it's looking like after this is taken into account. Usually that's the trailing 12 months. The forward 12 months would be something more like 19 or 18 now. But yeah, this is definitely good news. There's been a lot of negative news since the previous earnings call. And tomorrow they will have, if we back up a little bit, tomorrow they're going to have an earnings call, so you can listen in, hear from the chief executives of the company, and they probably will touch a little bit more on that lawsuit I was talking about and kind of what they expect. But yeah, if you got any questions or anything else, leave it in the comments. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.